Advise anyone to come forward, and let's watch that press conference.
My name is Greg Willie. I'm the Vice President of Public Relations for Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa. And Mollie's mother was going to read a statement. After that, I'll explain a little bit about Crime Stoppers, and we'll field a few questions after that. The questions, we don't have anything relevant to the investigation. It'll be all pretty much about the fundraising, what our purpose is with that, and any questions about Crime Stoppers.
First of all, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here today on Mollie's behalf. Second, I want to thank from the collective souls of all of Mollie's family and friends, the efforts that have been put in from the people in this town, in this county, in this state, in this country, and across the world. We appreciate every act that has been bestowed upon us. Thirdly, I would like to thank Steve Rhodes of Jasper Construction, who showed up on my doorstep a couple Mondays ago with his voice cracking and tears in his eyes saying, "Laura, we have to do something now to get a reward fund established." And Steve knows it didn't happen now. There was a lot of work. There were a lot of swear words, especially on my part. But as of, I believe, 9 o'clock yesterday morning, the reward fund, the Bring Mollie Tibbetts Home Safe Reward Fund, was established and was being funded. So with that being said, the family and friends of our daughter and our sister Mollie Tibbetts would like to announce that we have set up a Bring Mollie Tibbetts Home Safe Reward Fund at First State Bank here in Brooklyn, Iowa. We believe that Mollie is still alive, and if someone has abducted her, we are pleading with you to please release her. We are partnering with Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa to help facilitate the process of receiving information anonymously. That we can use to pay for her release or information that would lead to her location. As of 10 o'clock this morning, we have raised $172,000 that will be paid to you as soon as Mollie is safely home. You can contact Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa at 1-800-452-1111. or email your tip online at www.crimestoppersofcentraliowa.com. And once again, that is anonymous. If anybody has seen anything that you feel is related to Mollie's disappearance, please also contact Crime Stoppers, and that information will be forwarded to law enforcement with your identity being protected. If you would like to also donate to the Bring Mollie Tibbetts Home Safe Reward Fund, you can go to Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa website for further information to make that donation. We are very thankful for all the efforts of law enforcement and our friends in searching for Mollie. It is our greatest hope that if someone has her, that they would just release her and claim that money that we have raised for her freedom. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm turning it over to Greg Wiley with Crime Stoppers of Central Iowa. Greg?
Thanks.
Yep.
What I wanted to kind of do in support of the family, until we get further information about Mollie, we are expecting her to be alive. This is kind of a unique thing we've done with Crime Stoppers. We want the individuals that may have her to come forward, and the biggest thing, I guess, is that the reward fund will continue to grow. What we do as Crime Stoppers, we're basically a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We're run by volunteers here locally in Des Moines. All of us have real full-time jobs. But we love doing this because it helps the community. One thing we have to understand is that if we're going to be able to get her back, is that we've got to get this thing beyond our communities. if she was abducted and taken somewhere else, they have to understand that if they contact us, we can protect their identity. It's one thing to say that, you know what, call us and we'll protect your identity, won't tell anybody. It's another thing to say that we don't know who you are, even if we wanted to know who you are. Our system is set up. We have a software system. It's called P3 software. It is purchased through Anderson software company. Basically, when that information comes in, it's encrypted and scrubbed. And so the only thing that is identified to that information is an ID number. That tipster then will have to pay attention to you guys and contact us back if a crime has been solved. We have no way of contacting them back. If we do get the opportunity to have an interaction with whatever the individual is, law enforcement gets this information pretty much immediately. We're not privy to it. We're just the facilitator of it. We're the safety net for law enforcement. We're the great partners. Most of the public is not afraid to come forward and share information. We do not exist for those people. We exist for the other ones who, for whatever reason, would not come and communicate any information to the police, either because they're guilty of something themselves or may be involved in a crime. So that being said, we can take a few questions, but they're going to have to be pretty much tilted towards the reward fund and then questions about Crime Stoppers.
Well, do you believe that she was abducted?
At this time, that's one of the possibilities.
How can people donate? I know there's a link on the Crime Stoppers website. How does that work?
When you go to Crime Stoppers, we actually have a tab that has Mollie's name on it. You click that on, there'll be a way to wire the money in and also a way to a receipt that you can fill out and mail also that money in. We are a nonprofit 501c3. A lot of times those donations are tax deductible.
Ted Williams, Fox News. Can I have a question for Rob? Rob, can you tell us, this is your daughter, she's been missing since July 18th. Can you tell us how the family is holding up?
The family's holding up just fine. We're setting our personal feelings aside. This is a fight for our daughter. And so we have all the tools that we can use, and I want to thank the media for coming here and helping us to share this story, because we are told very little by the authorities for very good reason. They are incredible partners. They've put together an incredible investigation. It's large, it's sophisticated, it's aggressive, and they have been nothing but sensitive to our family. And to suggest otherwise is wrong. But they are not sharing information with us because they don't need to share information with someone who might be implicated in this. The other part is you, the media. You've been wonderful. You've taken our story national and international, and to keep this story in the public conscience is essential, because this is going to be solved by someone coming forward with information, either information that they think is trivial and not worth sharing, or information they think is going to implicate a loved one or a friend, and they're afraid of doing that. And I've been telling all of you, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. So come forward, share that information with the authorities, and let's bring Mollie home. And this is another tool in our arsenal. We're providing this fund to provide some financial incentive for someone who's otherwise reluctant to come forward. And if you can get this story out, then maybe we can bring Mollie home, and we'll all have a happy ending to this.
Rob, what do you make, Mr. Paulson and HLN, what do you make of the fact that you went from $2,000 to $22,000?
I think it's a testament to all of the media and your ability to get this story out. It's been incredible, the partnership with the media, the national media and the local media, to get Mollie's story out and to humanize Mollie so that people can identify. Mollie isn't all that more different than your daughters or your sisters or your girlfriend. She's just a wonderful, normal, terrific person. And we all can identify with that. So let's bring her home. So anything you can do to keep this story in the public conscience it's essential.
Is there a way to determine how the furthest donation you got? Is it overseas? I mean, how far are these donations coming from?
I don't know the details of all of that. I don't know that the amount is essential. It's just as much as the incentive is another tool that we can use. Across the street from here, the community, Live Now, is creating collateral, T-shirts and buttons and pins and yard signs and magnets that go on cars with that number, with that tip number on. And so we can only fight that way. And so that's what we're doing. And Laura put together this fund. We've been on a separate track trying to work with you to help you get this story out. So we wake up every day at 2, 3 in the morning to fight. And Laura's fighting, the boys are fighting, Dalton's fighting, everybody in this community is fighting to get her back. And you guys are really helpful.
Hey, Rob, good morning. The new sighting, the possible sighting of Mollie just confirmed by police yesterday. What does that, yes, it was a week ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so there was a sighting that they just said it's not. It's already, they did say it? Yeah. Sorry. Apparently not her. There was a sighting in Missouri that they thought could have been someone that matched your description. So now we're learning it's not her.
But I think you raise a good point. People are reluctant to come forward with information because they think it's irrelevant or it's trivial. Nothing is irrelevant. Nothing is trivial. And the authorities have told us as much. They have the resources to sort out what's right and what's wrong. So if you have something that's either trivial or something that's either could potentially implicate someone you know or love, come forward with the information. The authorities can sort that out and they can do it quickly.
Greg, have you ever had a reward this large in Crime Stoppers?
Well, the last one that we participated in was the actually Oakland murder back in 2011. Fortunately, in the communities that we live in, we don't get this opportunity, and we would rather not have to have it. The key thing in all this, like they were saying, is that the money can be an incentive for somebody to step up, especially if they have abducted her and possibly doing some other things monetarily. But the key part is that we can guarantee their identity. And what I explained before, we couldn't tell you who they were even if we wanted to tell you who they were. And that's crucial from what Rob said, as far as the individuals out there who don't want to be involved, feel like, boy, if I say something now, they're going to come after me and want to talk to me, or in cases in the past when we've had mothers turn in sons, family members turn in other family members because they're out of control. They wouldn't have done that unless they were absolutely sure that their identity would be protected. And that's a crucial part, is what Crime Stopper does. We're the safety net. Law enforcement does a great job. Most of the community, public, is not afraid to get involved. We exist for that small majority of the public that would never participate unless they were guaranteed their anonymity.
How often have you seen a case turn into a successful recovery because of the fact that there was money involved?
Well, locally, we haven't had a lot. I know I served on the board nationally several years ago, and there are stories all over the place where the amount of money did get somebody's attention, and they did come forward because they were confident they could come forward and be protected, and nobody would know who they are. There's going to be a lot of dynamics. So what we're trying to do is shake the tree. We want somebody to come forward, even if it's not real, at least to start a conversation with somebody. Somebody might know that she's being held by somebody, but would never say anything, because if they said something, they may think.
The effort now to appeal to people who are watching both national and local television in Brooklyn, Iowa, they need the public's help. And a huge thank you particularly to all the media for the platform of putting Mollie Tibbetts' image and now story out for the world to see. They had said, this family of hers, that they believe she is still alive, and they are operating that way. This news conference certainly had a feel of an appeal for someone who might be watching, or those around an individual who might be watching. She's 20 years old. She was out for a run, and she hasn't been seen since. And they want the details out there, even if you don't live in Iowa. South Grandview near Randall Place, when she I believe that's the location. Nevertheless, they want people to call into this number. We'll put it up on the screen, 641-623-5679. Again, it's on the screen right now for Mollie Tibbetts. Her family saying, this is a fight for our daughter. We are trying to humanize her to get people to call in. We'll continue to cover the story as it unfolds.
Another Fox News alert. We are learning that special counsel